talking about positivity even through affliction and trials and challenges. So life often gives us trials and challenges. That's part of life. And I used to go through those difficult times and hear of other people's difficult times and just get really bogged down and be like, oh my goodness, everybody's life is falling apart and everybody's having a tough time and it's just never going to get better. I would just feel that and be quite depressed. And in my older wisdom and age, I've come to realize that is just part of life. We're all going to have this roller coaster ride where in life we're having challenges and trials and then we're not. And we're having challenges and trials, learning how to deal with them, and then we're not. And we just keep moving and growing and doing better. So it may sound a little pessimistic or gloomy to talk about all these challenges, but really I'm trying to be a little bit realistic and optimistic. So I've had a few challenges in my life up till now. I'm sure I'll have more and learn a lot more too. But I wanted to share the story with you from a Star Trek episode. So don't go away if you don't like Star Trek. It was an episode where the captain of the ship was visited by the all-powerful Q, and he could make anything happen. And he asked the captain, Captain Picard, what gift, what would he change in his life? What would he not do that he did do to change his life, big time? And the Q could do anything. He could make anything happen. So Captain Picard had remembered a time in his youth when he had gotten in a fight, and at the end of the fight, I think something had pierced his heart. He had heart issues his whole life because of that. And those, you had seen through some of the episodes that it had to have a heart monitor, and it got changed periodically or something. Anyway, he was dealing with this issue because of a choice he'd made in his youth. And he asked Q if he could change that, if he could change that moment in time not to have that happen. And so, of course, the episode just has him go back in time, and he's this young man again, and he makes the choice not to get in the fight. And if he doesn't get in the fight, then he doesn't have that piercing of his heart, and he didn't have to deal with that. And then all of a sudden he goes back to the current day and time, and he's not the captain of the ship anymore. And he's kind of bummed about his position and where he's at. And he goes to the captain and he's like, what can I do to, move up in the ranks? And the captain said to him, we haven't ever really seen that much promise in you. We haven't really seen that in you. Are you, is that really what, are you sure? That kind of thing. And the crux of the episode was that sometimes the mistakes we make and the things we go through make us and help us become who we're meant to be. And I know it's just a Star Trek episode, friends. I know that. I know it's silly, but it really impacted me when I saw that, because I make mistakes that I wish I hadn't made, and I'm guessing that we all have. And oh my goodness, I don't think I would be the same person today if I hadn't made mistakes, learned how to move beyond them, learn how to be a better person, and become more positive through the challenges and trials that I went through. So I wanted to share that with you so that you can maybe feel better about some of the things that have happened in your past. Now, seeing other people struggle, I often say the grass is not greener on the other side. I often say, boy, I'll take my trials over what that person's going through. I'll take my struggles in relationships with the struggles in relationships that that person's going through. We're meant to learn how to handle our trials and our challenges, and learn to make it through it, learn from them, and learn to do better. And we can do that. A friend recently said, when I was maybe complaining a little bit about something that I was going through, and I really like this response. Her response was, "Are you being perfected and celestialized at the moment?" And I thought, she didn't want to hear my complaint. She didn't want to hear what I was saying. I think she was, of course, well-meaning. But you know what? That's exactly what it is. We're being perfected and celestialized. We are being a being that is learning going to improve because of the challenges that we've been given. And maybe we can learn to do it without complaining. I need to be better at that. We're all going through difficult times, and we can do better. So many of you have dealt with heartbreaking disappointments, relationship situations, sicknesses, disease, loss of someone. I've even heard of people in prisons that were in destitute situations that were just the one that was bringing other people up and using words and comfort to help everyone that was in the situation. I've heard of children with terminal issues that are just the most positive, Christ-loving people there are, even though they're going through such turmoil. And you can feel their strength and their testimonies through all that they're doing. So I want to follow their example, and I want to be positive through adversity and my challenges and trials that I'm going through. One day I want to look back and say, Shalene, you made it through that and you did it right. There are blessings that come from things. And I think I'm beginning to realize that happens a lot more than I realize. I'm very thankful for the lessons I'm learning in life, and that I am striving to be more positive through adversity. I pray that for you as well. Thank you for joining me today. Have an absolutely joyful day.